tried to get in touch with Joe Rogan. I said, I'm going to be in Texas for book-related stuff. I would love to be on. I did not hear back from Rogan. And as many of you know, I've been on the Rogan show twice. I don't know that I am eligible to be back on, in the sense that when I've found that Rogan says something I disagree with over the last few years, I criticize it. And I always couch it as, this doesn't mean I personally hate the guy. This doesn't mean we couldn't have a good conversation. In fact, I would welcome the opportunity to try to figure out what is it that happened with Rogan? Was it
David Pakman is losing it over Joe Rogan's recent comments on the Joe Rogan podcast, as David Pakman is projecting his own woke delusion onto Joe Rogan, saying that he has gone full conspiracy theorist and is now just saying ridiculous things because David Pakman is still stuck in the woke bubble, lying to himself and everyone else. So let's watch David Pakman lose it over what Joe Rogan had to say.
Moving to Texas and changing the people around him that changed his views on so many issues. What was it? So in any case, for me, none of this stuff is personal. I did not hear back from Rogan. So I don't think I'm going to be back on. In the midst of this, I was sent this clip of Rogan speaking to actor Woody Harrelson. This is really tough to watch. I won't even preview what's in it. Let's just jump in.
Comedy Mothership.
Yeah, I'd like to do that.
It's fun. It's a great place. My buddy Jimmy Dore is there this weekend, who's also great, and he's filming his comedy special there this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, Jimmy Dore is amazing. He's another guy that's risen as an independent journalist. He's a comedian.
So first of all, I do not believe that Jimmy Dore is a journalist, but I also don't believe that I'm a journalist. I don't think any of us are journalists. I think we are all commentators. We're just giving our opinions on things. And this is already a media literacy problem that we have in this country. Is it reporting or is it commentary?
And he started his show basically just making fun of political things. And then during the pandemic, got vaccine injured and really got kind of red-pilled and kind of became like the voice of truth and reason. And, you know,
he was vaccine injured, and now we can, as a result of the injury, we can now count on Jimmy Dore to tell us the truth.
Another guy who's been completely outcast by supposedly progressive people for just telling the truth.
Now, of course, I don't even know that it's accurate to say Jimmy Dore has been outcast by progressive people. This is one of the things that's really important to understand. When you change your views and you go, hey, actually the vaccines are fill in the blanks, everything Jimmy Dore has said, which isn't true, and it doesn't really seem like Trump's actually that bad. And, you know, I don't want to misquote Jimmy Dore, but, you know, this kind of playing coy with like, I'm as left as anyone, but like Harris, no, you know, Trump's actually not what people say. Once you start doing that, it's not that you're outcast because you're willing to tell some truth that nobody on the left wants to hear. You just lose any connection to the values and principles of progressivism, which include that we follow the science, we try to separate our feelings from the facts, we oppose authoritarianism, and this is the kind of scariest part. There's a lot of people in what I refer to as the revolutionary left, which I don't even really know that is the left. There is a wing or a sort of through line of people who at some point considered themselves to be nominally on the left, who are just enamored with authoritarianism and often authoritarian leaders and authoritarian dictators. And there's really nothing there that is leftism as I recognize it, where leftism is really libertarian, small L libertarian, where you say, let's get out of people's lives, except for places where we have a really good case that government should be involved. There are things that are too big to just handle in the libertarian way, and then we say government should be involved there. Healthcare would be one of them. Collecting taxes would be another one of them. Doing the roads would be another one of them. Military would be another one. So like the hyper-libertarian would say, government shouldn't even do military. We should leave it to private armies and they can be contracted for. No, right? So the small L libertarianism of the left that I recognize and consider myself a part of would say, a lot of this stuff, let's just keep the government out. I don't need the government directing, how we do mobile phone development. Let's let Apple and Samsung and whoever, right? But in some areas, I don't want the libertarian version of mercenary armies. Let's have the government do military. Okay, you guys get it. The problem is that the rhetoric of a lot of this populism has started to become indistinguishable left and right. And then they start playing coy with authoritarianism. And then we go, guys, there's nothing on the left that we recognize here. So I don't care about Jimmy Dore in the sense of saying we have cast him out from the left. I just don't hear him say anything that still places him on the left. He has segregated himself by virtue of what he has started to say. No one has cast him out.
David Pakman has not learned anything from the election. He is still as delusional as ever. I mean, you can listen to this, folks. I mean, he is trying to reword everything that either Joe Rogan is saying or that reality is actually is. I mean, I've never known libertarianism to be on the left. Like, that has never been a thing, ever been a thing. And Jimmy Dore, I mean, he wants to say that he wasn't cast out, but he's literally admitting, well, once he started talking about something that we said were Nazis because his views changed, maybe his views changed because he knew something that was true, and then he tried to tell us about that. Well, now your views aren't the same as us, so now you're out of the group. And that's really what happened. It's you just changed your views. Like, he's just trying to reword casting Jimmy Dore out as anything else but casting Jimmy Dore out. Like, he just doesn't want to say he got the boot from the group, because he did find some different information and he tried to say, some stuff about it and he got kicked out. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a, independent journalist. Like, yeah, everyone's, commentators. I'm a commentator. But David Pakman just simply cannot handle like anybody else talking about truth at all. He wants to claim the left followed the science. No, they didn't. We already know that. We already know the left did not follow the science at all through the COVID area. Like, we already know that information is out. All that is exposed. That is a complete BS lie. And David Pakman is still trying to push that insane rhetoric, folks. It's pathetic. Leave a like. It helps the algorithm. Let's get back in.
Continue.
Inconvenient truth.
Inconvenient. But I guess the progressives, are they
By the way, Woody Harrelson seems to have no idea what's going on.
now the conservatives? We got to change the term, because progressives seem a lot less progressive.
Yeah.
I really felt quite, during
got
this whole
co-opted.
thing, I felt quite,
I think they got co-opted, and I think it was on purpose. I think there was some very sophisticated psychological
This is the Alex Jones PSYOP perspective.
manipulation that was involved, and a lot of money was being spent.
I wish they told us who spent the money and how, and also kind of like why too.
In order to push some very specific narratives.
For what reason?
And they did a great job of it. They did a great job of it, but we're finding out because of the Department of Government Efficiency that most of this was funded by our own tax dollars, which is really fucking crazy.
Now, this is another one that this is like 12 conspiracies. Another one that they're pushing now is even that like shows like mine, without my knowledge, are funded by USAID through shadowy nonprofits who then come and buy ads on the show. Just completely made up. And it's funny that Rogan has fallen hook, line, and sinker for Doge is finding all of this stuff. Doge still has not found a single instance of demonstrated fraud that they have proven. When Caroline Levitt holds up papers and she goes, look, 30 grand for a DEI program. First of all, DEI programs aren't fraud. You might think that they're bullshit. You might think we don't need them, but they're not fraud. And also, we're going to solve this problem 30 grand at a time. I'm sorry, we're not.
A lot of these NGOs that supported a lot of these crazy riots and all these different things that were happening in our cities was really supported by our own tax dollars. And it was just a subversion of public discourse. Instead of allowing people to figure out what's right and what's wrong, they pushed what they wanted you to say, and anybody who deviated from that was canceled. And because of the fact that before Elon bought Twitter, the left had complete, total control over the narrative because they owned all the social media sites and they were in lockstep with the government. So
now, of course, I don't know when he's referring to. As many of you know, The Twitter files, which were supposed to explosively show that Twitter was biased on the left, showed that both the Trump administration and the Biden campaign, right, one's in power, had back channels to say to Twitter, we find these accounts problematic. Trump and Biden both had that.
And this is how you know David Pakman is being absolutely disingenuous with his argument, because David Pakman is trying to frame it as if Donald Trump and Joe Biden both had equal access to this back channel log. Never mind the fact that the FBI, who was inside of Twitter and Facebook, and Mark Zuckerberg has admitted this, pushed them to hide the Hunter Biden story, actively censor content that was right-wing supporting, which is clear discrimination. They didn't follow the science. They didn't follow the truth. They pushed a woke narrative that has ended up hurting, millions and millions of people. And yes, Joe Rogan is absolutely right. It was only until Twitter got a hold, Elon Musk got a hold of Twitter, and we were able to find out a lot of this stuff and actually get new information out, actually get the truth out. But David Pakman just cannot handle the idea of Joe Rogan claiming all of this was a psyop. And it was. It absolutely was. And he's still stuck in that psyop, brainwashed, and now projecting that same delusional reality on everyone else, folks. It's pathetic and insane. But folks, let me know in the comments below what you thought about David Pakman losing his mind over Joe Rogan's comments on the Joe Rogan podcast. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.